This is Lansdowne Roar, the voice of the fans. Coming up, Heimir, not for O'Neill, the former Republic of Ireland manager, has his say in the new manager. Plus, Seamus heads back to Sligo and gives his own opinion on the future of Irish international football. This is Lansdowne Roar. How's it going? Welcome to another edition of Lansdowne Roar. David Dunn here, joined by Martin Prendergast. And as always, if you like what you see, you love what you hear, scan that QR code, hit that subscribe button, head over to our Facebook, our Instagram, and our Twitter. And if you want opinion, head over to lansdowneroar.ie. That is lansdowneroar.ie. Martin, how are you doing on this beautiful cloudy day? Beautiful for me, actually, because it's not warm anymore.
No, good to see you, Dave. Great to be on the pod again, and early start again for us today. So, quiet weekend really in Irish football. A quiet weekend in Irish football. Not much happening yet. You know, it's all going to happen in the next few days. A few weeks, we hope. Obviously, we'll have the squad being announced for the September game in probably a month's time. Do you reckon? I mean,
yeah, God,
you know, I know we're a long way off that, but like, you want to see the players now getting into it. I'm kind of trying to keep track of pre-season friendlies and where players are playing. I noticed Liverpool played a game behind closed doors, Dave. This is a little left field. I haven't mentioned this before the show.
Don't know, Martin. It was behind closed doors.
Wonderful goal. It was Arnie's first game, and so they've kept it quiet. Result, but they did lose 1-0 to Preston, and a fantastic goal by a player that you said would never play for Ireland again, Mr. Robbie Brady. So that was good to see. I did enjoy seeing that over the weekend, and I'm just going to try and keep track now. And obviously, we've got Connor Tracker, who's going to be, giving us the update of where these players are and what they're doing.
Yeah, because God knows we haven't got a clue.
Yeah.
Good old Connor over on a friend of the friend of the pod, Connor over at Republic of Ireland Player Tracker. Easy for me to say. Martin, these really early starts are killing me.
Yeah.
My brain hasn't woken up yet, be that as it may. But yes, Connor over at Republic of Ireland Player Tracker on Twitter doing God's work. And if you want to know what's going on really with Irish players, the latest in transfer news, that boy, he has got all the information that you need over there. But, show a bit of love to us as well and continue to watch the pod and support the pod, please. Did you watch the All Ireland?
I did a call up. I had a nice family day yesterday. I had a really nice weekend, actually. I went to Newmarket races on Saturday evening. And
jeez, you were busy.
That was lovely, right? And that kind of coincided a little bit of, I was just, I'm always quite positive, and I'm talking about like the interaction of footballers and how they are with fans and stuff. And racing does this very well. Like, it's mad, really. I've been watching as well a really good documentary called Full Gallop. It's on ITV. ITV obviously promoted it and are done a lot of production of this. And it's behind the scenes kind of fly on the wall of racing, the national hunt season. So it started off with the King George racing, and then it goes into Cheltenham and things like that. So all high profile names involved in it. I feature in it. You can see me. I'm in the crowd on the first episode, Dave. They know their audience. But no, it was really, really good to see. And then when I went to racing in as well the other day, I had the kids with me and things, and just the interaction of jockeys with and even trainers and stuff, they are on TV and stuff, but they just really do appreciate kind of
but they're hardly superstars,
the fans and things.
Yeah, hardly superstars, like.
Well, they are.
No, maybe in your little mind they are, but not really.
Well, yeah, but that's again like kind of bring it back to a little bit like you're saying about did I watch the All Ireland? I did, and I know that was shown on BBC, which is brilliant. I know you were saying as well off camera that all the a new fan base has come to hurling in a way. Like you kind of
it hasn't.
This is something.
It's a passing interest. Give over, will you?
Yeah, it will be, but you will get people interested in it. You will.
I saw that and I knew it was coming when people were like, "Oh my God, people are watching the
Roy Keane was talking about on the overlap as well,
and he love it. Oh my God, it's fantastic. Oh, love me. I couldn't care less. I don't. That's one thing I never got is like it's a sort of Irish obsession of why people have to love us. Why? Respect me.
We're very lovable, Dave. But
I'm not.
Anyway, I was thinking though of. I don't think it would work, but it's a good idea. should the FAI look at doing something like one of those behind the scenes, um, you know, like Liverpool have done and things like that? Should they look at that international football wise? Would it be interesting? I know the profile wouldn't be
Would that
there,
be
but
wise?
no, but wouldn't it be a good thing though? Like it would be,
It- it-
because there's the low profile of it all, it would be quite good. Even like some of our players, like it would
I
help
think
them. I think. I think it'd be a good idea.
it would. I mean, it depends what you're after. Like the last one they did, I think. Did they do one on Brian Kerr back in the just before he lost his job? And the one before that was McCarthy's Park in '96, which sort of covers '96, '97, which covers like his first season in charge of the Boys in Green. I like anything like that is good, but it depends what you want to do. I think it'd be very wishy washy. Like I behind the scenes things don't really interest me if they're basically I understand it, for a wider audience. Yeah, I totally get it. For me though, I'm very it has to mean something. Behind the scenes. If it's just sort of like, what's your favorite car? What's your favorite colored car? And this kind of nonsense, I wouldn't be interested in it. But if you want to open it up a little bit to a wider audience, I suppose. Yeah, if you want to, open that connection with the younger fans, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose maybe. I'm really
Yeah.
grumpy today, Martin.
No, I think it. Yeah, I
Mm.
think it could happen. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Maybe, yeah. I'm just here to whatever good idea you have. I'm just gonna like. I'm just gonna nah. Nah. Oh yeah, and your boy Roy Keane, miserable as always, sitting there in the crowd. Apparently, he didn't like being captured by the camera.
Well,
Forbid, eh?
he's away from. He just wants to be there as a fan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's why he
That's
sits
what I do
there.
miss, though. They changed the GAA calendar, so because it
Oh
used to
yeah.
coincide with international weekend, right, September, and often you would get some of the players going to the All Ireland final. Like Roy Keane's been at All Ireland finals before.
Right, Martin. Let's get on to our first topic on today's program, and that is the world's most bitter football coach, Martin O'Neill. There he is. That's an old stock picture, isn't it, from his days? I think it's just before. Well, it's obviously before a Denmark match. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're listening to us on the audio version, yeah, obviously you can't see this, but that's what's happening. He's had a say on the new Ireland manager, Martin. I'm going to read it out to you. This was from the Football Authorities podcast. Oh, official. O'Neill said, "It's been a saga. It has taken so long for the FAI to make their minds up about who is going to be the manager. I think that they interviewed a number of people, top quality people as well. Then John O'Shea became the interim manager and has done fine. John is maybe a rookie in terms of management, but he knows the squad. He knows the players pretty well. And it's just a reminder, this is from the Mirror, by the way. They remind you that the FAI still claim Hallgrimsson was their number one target. It doesn't stack up with Lee Carsley, Neil Lennon, and Roy Keane all sounded out early on in the process." And O'Neill continued, "They weren't going to give it to the likes of Neil Lennon or Roy, might have been interviewed as well. Those were two very, very big names. They weren't going to do that. Then I thought that John O'Shea maybe should have had a run at it." O'Neill, who succeeded Giovanni Trapattoni in 2013, claims there would have been advantages to appointing an Irish manager, but the Derryman, who left the post in 2018, suspects O'Shea's lack of experience cost him. This is what he had to say on that. "It looked like a bit of a bolt from the blue," he said, of Hallgrimsson's appointment. Now, I'm not saying that he's not without pedigree, but I'm just saying that he's not Brian Clough. No, I'm just joking. He didn't say that. But I'm just saying, for someone like John O'Shea, who's been involved in it, maybe the FEI took into consideration John's lack of experience as a manager. Doesn't matter what really they would have done. I think O'Neill would have had a pop anyway, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I mean he's on that podcast, isn't he? And he does it with is it Clive Tilsley does it with him. They I've given an odd listen. It's not the greatest podcast to listen to, Dave. Ours is, and
Absolutely.
as you know, but no, yeah. I mean, look, he's going to be asked. It's a kind of probably slow. God, easy for me to say. Slow news week for him as well, and he's going to be asked. Oh, do you see Ireland got a new manager? You were in there. What did you think? Is it a slight on Roy that he wasn't probably seriously considered for it? He's always going to have an opinion, O'Neill, and that's what he shared. But yeah, I kind of it's nothing new, is it? I mean, we know why they probably didn't go with John O'Shea. I'd like to hear what John O'Shea has to say about it and we still don't have any news from the backroom staff. Like what's happened since this meeting with John O'Shea, and is he going to be involved?
I mean, we touched on it in the last episode, on one of the previous episodes we did anyway, which is available on the YouTube channel, and it's also available on lansdowne.ie. Have to get it in, of course. That he drove down to Heimir. Halgrimson drove down to John O'Shea's house in Waterford, but when it was being reported, it was kind of mixed, because it said he was about, it was sort of sold in a weird context. It was like, oh yeah, he's about to drive down, or he's already driven down. It was sort of, it was reported in pre and post sort of event sort of context. It's easy for me to say, but do you know what I mean? Like, on one hand, he was saying, "Oh yes, well, if he wants to meet, that's good news," and then in the same report, they were saying he's already done it. So what's the outcome? We don't know. Has it happened yet? I just found that very sort of contradictory in the reports when I was kind of reading the bit over again. So I don't know if he has. Has he met him? Is he interested? I imagine it'd be very straightforward. I would also imagine, no disrespect to John O'Shea, he's hardly got a clamoring of clubs, championship clubs banging on the door for him just yet. Not to sound horrible, but he had a bit of a mixed record with Ireland. One win. What was it? One win, one defeat, two draws, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, sorry, two defeats, one draw, one win. Yeah, because he lost to Switzerland and Portugal. I mean, battered in the last game. So he's hardly going to have a load of clubs knocking down the door. So I can't see why he wouldn't want to get on board. And I don't think there's any shame in him really getting on board with Heimir. You can learn from a pro, and Heimir is a pro. I like what he's saying so far. Never mind what O'Neill is saying. I mean, typical O'Neill. He's just having a shot there. He hasn't really looked at this guy's pedigree. He said, "Oh, I'm sure he's not. He's not without pedigree, but he hasn't actually had a look at it and what this guy's achieved." And to be fair, he does seem like a perfect fit for Irish football. But I'm sure O'Neill just sort of sees red. I'm surprised he didn't start tearing into Stephen Kenny, actually, on the pod. But I don't think it'd be a bad thing for John O'Shea to jump on board. And then, I think Heimer's turned around and said himself, look, if I move on, it's warm. It's there for you. I'm making it easier for you to. Then there can be real. There wouldn't be any arguments unless it's a complete disaster in the Heimer, which I don't think it will be. Then you can easily step into that role.
Yeah, I think you've been a bit harsh on John O'Shea there, though, because
Not
I think,
really.
I think John O'Shea, all right, he's at the start of his coaching journey in a way that I know he's been with the under-21s.
If you were if you were a championship club chairman, right? Would you be? Well, no, you probably would. But take out the emotion of it. Would you be banging down the door for John O'Shea? I think it's.
Yeah, but it's not a chairman doing that, is it? It's a manager. So, for example, Wayne Rooney could easily approached like John O'Shea, like any kind of high profile manager who has worked with John O'Shea or knows him and knows that he's a decent coach or whatever, or knows him personally, I suppose, would have, I don't think, any hesitation bringing him in to that. If you like, it's like Keith Andrews.
Yeah, coach,
they move around.
I mean, as a manager, Martin, as a head coach.
Oh yeah. No, sorry, I'm not. No, I don't. Manager wise, I don't know really. Yeah, it's is he putting himself out there enough for that? You just don't know. We haven't heard from John O'Shea what he wants to do. Like,
it's strange that it's taken so long.
Yeah, because you'd think contractually it's not going to be too difficult. But the only thing I'm thinking is the stickler on that is if they do put in place, and I hope they don't, because it will just cause problems down the line, as it did with the deal of Roy Keane.
Yeah,
not Robbie. I mean Robbie Keane. The succession plan with Kenny, doing all these deals and stuff. I hope that's not happening. Like, you don't have to put the progression plan in place here with John O'Shea and promise him contractually that you will get the job following on if you are his assistant. Don't do that. Just say that's not happening. We don't need to do that. But that's the only thing I can think is perhaps complicating things.
No, you wouldn't put it in writing, because then you're handcuffing yourself, and it could be a complete unmitigated disaster at the Heimir era. I don't think it will be, by the way. I obviously we need to see how, speculation is one thing. We need the proofs in the pudding, as you say. But I think it's a case of, look, we really like you, we like what you're about, but we think if you work closely with this guys, we would like to see ideally a progression plan. We're open to it. But then, anything could change. Mark Canham could find another job. I'm not even saying that to be derogatory. Um, things change, don't they, in the space of 3-4 months, never mind years. So you don't really know. But yeah, I think that would be a good idea, though, to have a succession plan there in place. The Liverpool way, Martin. And by the way, how obsessed are you with Roy Keane? God, can't get him out of your brain there, can you? Any excuse to drop
I
him
think
in.
it is that you brought him up about going to.
Yeah,
He
but
can't
I
even go
yeah,
to the All Ireland without you mentioning it.
but because he was at the All Ireland. That's
Yeah, because
why.
you're
You just
stalking
think
him.
about him all the time, don't you?
Leave the man
Anyway,
alone.
I'm trying to, Martin. I'm trying to. But anyway, that's what he had to say on that. But more to continue on. Yeah, hopefully, John O'Shea. I'd like to see John O'Shea part of the coaching ticket. I know people are saying, "Oh, I want nothing to do with Stephen Kenny," blah blah blah. But look, at the end of the day, he was a set piece coach, so I'm not sure exactly how much he could have done there. Right. Seamus Coleman was back in Sligo. There he is there for a nice little fundraising friendly for the Bit O Red there. The Everton captain who signed a 1-year extension to his contract. It's not Goodison Park this year, is it? Or is it one more year at Goodison Park?
One more year, isn't it? Yeah,
One more
one more
year,
year, Goodison. Yeah.
and then he goes down to the docks. Down to the docks with you. But he's also had a say on the new Ireland manager, but a bit more positive. This is yet again from the Irish Mirror. He's very excited to be in the job, said the 35-year-old. I think we're all glad that we finally got a manager, whichever way it's come about, and we've got to back him now and support him. Well said, Seamus. I know that's what the Irish people do. They will get right behind this manager and support him because another major tournament has gone past where we've all been sitting from sitting rooms watching or from pubs watching, wherever. There has been too many tournaments that have gone past us now. There's talks of styles and of play and development, and I get all that for the future of Irish football. But the here and now is what you want, is that you want to be at these tournaments, however way that is. If that's playing out from the back or whatever, kicking along, the nation needs to be at these tournaments, and we need to find a way of getting there. The Icelander brought up the topic of playing style himself last week when he said he favoured a back to basics approach. But Seamus is quite supportive of him there. And he continues, listen, we have won games in the past, not only playing very well, he said. I know that ultimately to progress long term, you want a style of play, you want a way of playing football, but selfishly as a player, you want to get the tournaments. So the best way possible to get to those tournaments without maybe turning your back on trying to play attractive football. Of course, that's what we all want, and that's how you develop. But you've got to weigh it up in terms of we can see more and more tournaments go past us. And he talks about England getting to the final, not playing so much, attractive or playing not so attractive football. So Seamus is behind the manager. I mean, you wouldn't expect anything less, really, would you, from the captain?
Is he the captain?
Oh,
Will he change
controversial, man.
No, he will be our captain.
Possible.
But yeah, a more senior leader, isn't he? Really, Seamus. I mean, when Seamus kind of speaks, I do listen. I think it's always calm, always well communicated, and I think it's really important as he's talking about. Like, yeah, we do want to have a fantastic playing style, of course, but he's 100% right. We will not have a football team to build on or to develop if we don't start qualifying for tournaments, because the interest in it from youth and kids, they won't have Irish heroes anymore, and they will follow other sports where there is success, and that's what we need to find a way of qualifying now. And it's a results game, and yeah, that's just going to be very, very important. That's the challenge for the manager now. Is the words I was gonna say were it's easier than ever now to qualify for tournaments. Evidently, it's not, but for us anyway. But we can compete, and the worst thing will happen is we will qualify for tournaments, and then that's where we'll be exposed as not being a great football inside. And then you'll have everyone going, "Oh, what's the point of qualifying?"
Well,
because we get hammered anyway, and that's what happened in 2012.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, it was the group of death. It was Croatia, Italy, and Spain. But see, I understand what they're saying with the pragmatism and all that. But the issue I have is that if it becomes like trap, you saw in the early signs of Trap that he was actually looking to play a bit more of a patient style of football. With Stephen Reid in the park. Remember that game against Norway? The first half of it anyway, and you see, oh yeah, we can play this. We're compact. We expand with the ball. We're compact with it. You think, okay, yeah, this is good. We had a very good technical player. There was Stephen Reid. Of course, you had Andy Reid if you wanted to use him there as well. And then he just went, nah, got rid of all that. Went route one, and we played route one. That only gets you so far. It only gets you so far. And the reason why England, and I was saying this to my brother-in-law actually about England, is that England don't have a style of play because it's an international league. The top four coaches, three are Spanish, one is German, or was. Well, that's how it finished last year. And, the Spanish have a style of football that you play from academies, from the back, all the time. So if things aren't going right, they go back to what feels right, muscle memory, pass, patient. English football, and the way Irish football as well has international football has been about moments of quality. Bellingham overhead, that sort of thing, moments of quality. The Watkins goal against the Dutch, just moments of quality. And when you don't have those players, they have the players to produce those moments of quality. We don't really know. Is Evan Ferguson going to be the man to do that? He trailed off last season. We've heard kind of mixed reports from the camp. We've got a new manager there now as well. The Zerbi's gone, and that's the problem. Will I'm all for pragmatism, but will the manager become over reliant on that? Where it's just, that worked. I would just kick it long. This is easy. This is because that's what Trapp did. Let's be honest. That's what Trapp did. Back of a fag paper, day before them. I was like going back to the 80s where he announced the team the day before. Yeah, there you go.
He didn't trust. Yeah, he didn't trust
a week.
Players. I mean,
he was announcing teams a week in advance at the Euros, for Christ's sakes.
We've spoken now about it seems a long way away. It's a long way away from this being kind of relevant in the sense that player who can kind of open up a team when they just sit back in and they're very organised. We didn't, like where's Andy Reid was one of those not used for that. Jack Byrne as well was another one. We don't actually need that player at the moment because we're not very good. So you don't have to worry about that player in there because teams come out and play us because they know we're not great at the moment. Whereas we will need that player though, and we need clever footballers, of course.
You need them against the Georges.
You do, yeah. No, but we will develop those players. I think our under-21s and our youth. I think we're doing a lot of work in the background, but obviously the proof is going to be there. And I understand the manager wanting to go back to basics and being difficult to beat first of all, and then worry about how we can't be conceding. We're going to be a danger from set pieces because we've got some great players, especially our defenders are very good attacking from set pieces, like Shane Duffy was in the past. We've got O'Brien now, Collins as well, massive height, which is good. Evan Ferguson's not a small lad either, so we will be a threat from that. But we do need some clever little technicians as well in there. You do need that mix. I know that sounds very basic to say that, but you do, but you need the structure in place, and that's what we were just passing for passing sake, I think, and.
Well, yeah,
that never got us anywhere, really.
I think what people will be happy with, that if you're playing like France or Portugal and you make yourselves compact and tough to beat and you squeeze out a draw or a result by a long ball, no one's going to mind that at all. The problem is when you count to places like Georgia. Now, I know Georgia have qualified for a major tournament, more recent than we have, and actually made a hell of a fist of it, to be fair. They did okay. I mean, they got to the knockout stages and, they're beaten by the eventual winners of the tournament despite going ahead early. But I think the issue is when the laziness kicks in and it's just the manager going, do you know what? Just play that one style for every team, whether it's Liechtenstein, whether it's Georgia, whether it's Kazakhstan. And remember Kazakhstan away, these games, they were painful to watch. No, we have the players there to go up against the so-called minnows where you can play football. You can go for it, attack them, get a handy 3-0 win. But when you play the big teams, be compact. People aren't going to mind that. They understand that. That's pragmatism. But I think the issue was, and it happened with Trapp, it happened with O'Neill, when you just get lazy. And it's just, sure, that worked. That's worked the last few years. We'll do that. As I said, it's about moments of quality. And we don't quite have those players fully developed yet. And then you hope when there are some very technical players coming through, they're not quite there just yet, maybe another 2-3 years off the senior team. And you hope that when those lads do come in, actually, do you know what? We don't need to bypass the midfield. We can put it up to these kind of so-called bigger teams a little bit. We can play a bit more football. And I think that progression, I think people will welcome that and they will understand that. But it's when it just becomes cookie cutter, yeah, over the top, and it becomes boring and you're squeezing results because it will squeeze the morale out of the fans. It will squeeze the morale out of the players, and then it'll be the same old nonsense again. And then it'll be like, oh, we need to go back. We need a manager that believes in the players. Blah 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 blah. Because we had it with O'Neill, and we had it with Jack actually. Funny enough, but we had it with O'Neill, and we had it with Trapp.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, I'm just desperate for us.
You just want to qualify, Martin, don't you? You're so desperate for it. Look at you. I taste it.
Like it's we waited 231 days for the manager. I just wish now it'd been earlier. Obviously, we can all say that, but it just seems such a long way away till the England game because I really want to see what he's going to do. Like it is exciting to see. Okay, what way we're going to set up for this and what we're going to do, and yeah, like I hope all of the players get a good start to their seasons, and then he will. But I think there's a bit of a job now for the FAI. I'd like to know the backroom staff. I'd like to see who's involved in that and where they are watching games, what they're working on. Basically, I know we've had a couple of weeks now with him traveling the League of Ireland, going to games, going to the coaching courses. We've seen even the pro license there. I see Paul McShane, Glenn Whelan, David Myler have all come out of that recently, so that's good. It's great for the game that all that's happening in the background in Irish football. But I really want to see now us on the ground what the groundwork's going to be doing, and who he's going to have in with him, where they're watching. Let's get our players now playing for their teams in the start of the season, keep everyone fit, hopefully, and then ready for that squad in September. Because otherwise he's coming into a bit blind. I think it's crazy that if they don't have people from the last, like John O'Shea, I think has to be involved in it because otherwise who's guiding him a little bit. Now, I know he will have watched our last few games and he'll have looked at the squads and know the profile of players.
I think John O'Shea, though, whether he takes the job or not, I think they will. Of course, he would. Yeah. John O'Shea wants what's best for Ireland. We've seen that. Yeah, we've seen that regardless. One thing I will say about Heimir, which will be completely different to Trapp and O'Neill and even Jack, is that, and Mick, that he'll live here. He'll live in Ireland. He will live in Ireland. So he'll be a bit more surrounded, and he probably will have his eyes opened up a bit more to what is available, such as in the League of Ireland. He will have his ear to the ground a lot more. So I'm hoping that he won't take the kind of lazy man's approach.
And he'll be very welcome as a non-national coming to Ireland and working there.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
No, I think Look, I think it's brilliant. We have to have the profile high for Irish football. You have to have the manager as well engaging with the fan base. And that's something I'm really positive about as well. I do think they've got to do that right.
Yeah.
And really, they've got to have a little PR drive now. The FAI, they've got to get everyone falling in love with the team again, happy with the manager, seeing the profile raise, and then getting behind the lads. Obviously, because ticket sales and things like that. Definitely got to engage with the national team again.
Right, Mark, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for watching at home. As always, you can catch us most Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday on YouTube, and of course, wherever you get your podcasts from. Funnily enough, we won't be live this Wednesday. Martin and I, we're going to be over at the London Embassy doing our bit to promote Irish football to the powers that be, Martin, as we always do. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, looking forward to a big honour for us as Risk London, 40 years of the club. So, yeah, we've got some special guests in attendance as well, which is great. And, yeah, being honoured by the Ambassador Martin Fraser, welcoming us there, but music and some nice speeches along the way, I'm sure. Yeah, so it should be good. We'll have to get a few photos from that, Dave, and we'll be posting from there as well. We
will be posting
bits.
Yeah. We'll probably do maybe a little mini report for the event or something afterwards. You never know.
We will.
And as always, if you like what you see, love what you hear, please head over to our YouTube, our Facebook, our Instagram, and our Twitter account. Give that QR code a little scampers as well. And if you want opinion, head over to lansdowneroar.ie. That is lansdowneroar.ie. Right, I'm David Dunn. He's Martin Prendergast. We are out of here. Good night, and God bless.